Situation. The morning of a thunderstorm, an apartment janitor found one unit in disarray. Among the mess lay a dead body. Be careful. By carefully examining the details of the scene, can you uncover what happened? So hello everyone, I am Mulbre, the Cryptid Slime, and welcome to the next part of Crime Scene Investigators. Now this is this third video. I will have fourth, fifth, something, depending on how I decide to break up the VOD. I did live stream several scenarios, but then there was a scenario that came up that I was like, I am not playing this live. In fact, I am not going to play it at all. So that would be the previous scenario. So in the missing case files, I did number 1, I skipped number 2, and now I'm on to number 3. So if you guys are watching these to hopefully get some answers, I do recommend just looking up the solutions for scenario 2 because I have my opinions, and let's just say I think that that was disgusting, unprofessional, and unnecessary. So all that being said, a little uncomfortable laughter, let's get into scenario 3. But yeah, I've really been enjoying the game right up until that scenario, so I just looked up the answers and skipped it. Alright, so we're in a hotel. Oh, that's right, I forgot to turn off the whole clue found thing. Okay. It's okay, I mostly ignore it anyways. So there's a very simple, affordable table. Broken pottery. There's sugar everywhere, garbage bags. The whole kitchen is in a disarray. Oh, I see, that must have been where they kept the bags. What's that? Oh, it's pasta. I thought it was aluminum foil, then the song started playing. Aluminum foil, foil. Oh, Florida. Lots of beverages to be had. So obviously somebody is not feeling too well. And I do see that there's nothing else really has apple juice, orange juice? No, it's not orange juice. It's not really apple juice either. I guess tomato sauce. But there is like drops over here. What does this say? Y&A gas. Food Mart. Okay. So they got beer, rope, and cigarettes. There's a bullet there. Okay, did they self-exterminate? There's some cards. Late rent notice. 2, Thomas Harrington. Okay, that's kind of interesting that Thomas has been mentioned now because he was mentioned in the previous 2 scenarios as well. Rent collection policy. Ross McLaughlin, the management agent shall collect rent in accordance with the tenant's lease, which conforms with housing procedures and abides by and follows Florida real estate law. Policy in summary. Rent is due on or before the 1st of each month. Any rent not paid in full by the end of the 5th day of the month is subject to a $50 late fee. Any tenant who has not paid rent and late fees by the 17th day of the month will have eviction procedures initiated against them. That's okay. So, and then we know that he was getting a late rent notice. So this isn't an eviction, but it is a notice. Please pay on time from now on. Well, that's passive aggressive. Oh, goodness. So he was going to, yeah. Call log. Todd. So he has a lot of missed numbers, and he only returned 1 number from the 2274397. Is that a number we're supposed to know? And there's a Todd in here. Actually, now that I think about it, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so in the previous scenario, Thomas Harrington was actually mentioned in the scenario. He came and rescued a bunch of people. So that's what these numbers are. So this was a young girl named Irene's phone number. And this was him answering her. I do not recall these other two numbers. Mommy's going to die, please help. Okay, so this is the message from Irene. Todd is new. Hey Thomas, are you back at that place again? I can never reach you during November. Please, I'm worried about you. I just want to know how you're doing. Please call me when you get this.
Hey Thomas, are you back at that place again? I can never reach you during November. Please, I'm worried about you. I just want to know how you're doing. Call me when you get this.
And this is the 1024. Hi, thank you for what you did. I don't know what else to say, but that you saved us, we can't thank you enough. So this is probably Emma's mother. So he didn't answer that number either. Which is, I believe Thomas was actually the boyfriend of the first scenario. Josh Woods, Nicholas Woods, Hazel Woods missing. Hazel, that's the daughter from the first game. Or not the first game, the first scenario. They believe she'd run away. So in the first scenario, which, spoiler alert, right? I probably should preface all of this as spoiler alert. Hazel was going to be an adopted daughter, but they were taken away by Child Protective Services. So it looks like she'd run away. Was he looking for her? Josh Woods was her father, but he was not in the picture. Nicholas Woods was her brother. So, if he has Nicholas's address, and he's with his father, how long has it been? Especially if they're doing an age progression photo. Yeah, it's been years since scenario 1. Okay, that's a flower, a feather, a walnut, a little metal ring, an empty wallet. Oh, a bloody jacket. Another star sign, but this one has a little bit of a stain on it. I mean, the word sextons is highlighted, so is Regulus. Searching for the lost. Named Dennis. Not Hazel. So yeah, he's looking for Hazel. Not Hazel. Not Hazel. What are the questions here? Who entered through the window? Who died here? Who's the killer? Weather. The trusty weather tracker. Stormy. Set for Miami. Searching for the lost. No new messages. I guess there's nothing to see. Now it says who came in from the window, but the windows look pretty intact. Unless they're referring to this particular window. Because this is knocked over, but nothing else is. So if we look at the steps... Okay, that is as far as we go. So we look at the muddy steps. Muddy, bloody, what have you. He basically came in. There's a bit of a splatter here. So he came in, they tussled, had a bit of a fight, broke down the table, fought around this way, landed here, and there's a bullet up there. I kind of wonder... That's his wife, yeah. Or his supposed-to-be wife. They were engaged when the kids got taken away. Mother of neglected children found dead. The evening of November 16, Thomas Harrington returned home from work to find his 34-year-old fiancée, Catherine Patton, hanging from the ceiling of the living room fan. A couple months prior to the incident, Child Protective Services took and relocated her children after an investigation after an investigation of an allegation. Mr. Harrington was unavailable for comment. So yeah, basically, he's a truck driver, or was a truck driver. So he was gone all the time. However, he was always at casinos, spending a lot of money, so he never really financially provided for the home. But then, so she was working all the time. And because she was working all the time, she didn't have a whole lot of money to give the kids, and so they were getting $12 a day between the two of her kids, and that was to buy their food. Well, then her daughter, Hazel, ended up deciding that she wanted to save her money to buy a brand new doll instead, and she was found collapsed in front of the parking lot of the store that she went to. And I guess their mother committed suicide because of that. Like, she really was trying. She really was. Todd, I heard you were leaving Nashville. This is a gift for you. I hope this can help you in the new life ahead of you. Oh, this is a picture from the previous. She said yes. This is when they got engaged. Oh. Merry Christmas. Happy holidays. How are you doing, Thomas? I'm so happy that you stayed strong this year as well. During summer next year, I am planning to visit you. I'll text you when I have a clear date, so you can let me know when you are staying. Todd. Happy birthday, Thomas. I wish you all the best for the coming year. Thank you for being such a great friend. I enjoy all of our conversations and hope we can meet more, so call me anytime you want to talk. My reading issues are coming through so strongly, and I'm trying so hard, guys. But, okay. Interesting. So he didn't hang himself, though. Who entered through the window? Who died here? Who's the killer? Oh, Oh, I see. It lets us get our... Okay, we can actually see the previous answers. Where was everyone on the 6th of September? I see. So this is how we were supposed to know that Thomas was the intruder, was the guy who came in and rescued them. Because we'd be able to look at his phone in this scenario and answer that question. The reason I already had it answered is because, like I told you guys, I just looked it up and was able to pretty quickly put 2 and 2 together based on what they told me, because I would not do that scenario. Killer died window. I mean, there's not really any evidence that somebody came through the window other than this little smudge right here. It's like the only evidence. But considering that'd be like a really weird texture to have. Oh, yeah, smudge and then footprints. So it looks like they came in through the window right here. And they caught him while he was sitting here looking at a picture of his lady. So if he was sitting here while looking at a picture of his lady, then there's blood through here. Looks like he was looking for something. Oh, okay, hold on, hear me out, hear me out. Guy comes through the window right there. Comes on through, catches Thomas sitting here looking at the picture of his departed fiancée. So the guy who died is the guy who came through the window. But they both were injured, right? So then Thomas came through. He's stumbling, he's knocking things over. He's coming around here, he's trying to find things, he's digging through things, he gets a body bag out, he's trying to find something, finally finds it. Med kit. And then these footsteps here, right, were him coming home with these items. The beers, the rope, the cigarette. So he comes home, he sits down, intruder comes in. Okay, but if it was Thomas who was looking for the med kit, why would he have ran through everything trying to find it? Other than panic. There's multiple bullets. There's actually 2 right here. A 9mm and a 9mm. So 2 bullets were shot. Where's the other bullet hole? Unless it's supposed to be like this one missed but caused a wound, and then this one killed so it went away with the body. Girl found after being missing for 23 years. We don't get to know who, so it's probably not Hazel. So many missing posters. I I don't even know where to begin. I don't even know where to begin. So I have Thomas Harrington, Ross, but he's the landlord. He wouldn't risk losing everything. Then there's Todd, but Todd was concerned. The only answers I really have is there was a guy named Philip in the previous scenario. So, I mean, I could put Philip. I don't think I have a last name. Who entered through the window? So I'm guessing Todd probably entered through the window. Because that's the only other name I have. So if Todd came to show up, or showed up to help his friend. It wasn't Todd. Okay. So not Todd and not Philip. Just watch. It'll be my luck that it'll be like Philip plus his last name will be who came through that window. Do the shoes tell me anything? Are there any footprints to be had? Wouldn't it be sad if it was Hazel? If Hazel came through the window and then he died? When did she go missing? When she died. Where did I... Oh, there it is. Missing December 12th, 2004. What if she was from the previous scenario? What if she was one of the girls who was brought into the previous scenario? She would have been about the right age. Well, I do have another name to try from the previous, but that was a tattoo artist. I don't think that would have worked. There's just not a whole lot to go off of who could have come through that window. Because I know that Rose called him, so she got his number. Rose. So we have here an apartment. Okay? Icky, yucky, mucky footprints. Somebody's come in. Westwood Apartments. Okay, so came in. Why do I have a feeling I am gonna have to understand the previous scenario just to know what happened here? Because if we know that Thomas is dead, right? Because we know that's for certain. Thomas is dead. He was killed by Philip. But who came through the window? Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Hold on. Okay, I do need to go to the previous scenario just to see something. Because, okay, even though I refuse to actually, like, do this scenario, I still played a little bit of it to, like, just know what I was even looking at. Just because, you know, it takes a while before it's like, oh my gosh, and then it sunk in. But I do recall seeing something, and that key is what I recall. Right here. Westwood Apartments. Because somebody killed the dog, right? It was, so the person who came, so Thomas, broke in here. He was probably already bleeding, potentially, when he was trying to leave. But what if Thomas is the one who dropped this key here? Because this key is used to open the door. So if we leave...
Which case file would you like to
go back to scenario 3. So if we go with the assumption that knowing that Thomas broke into that house in the second scenario and left his key there because it was still there for me to find, and that this happened after that scenario, like, because there's literal years possibly happening in between these scenarios. Because we look at this calendar, it's 2015. So yeah, there's like years happening, or at least time. No, wait, years happening doesn't make any sense either, because if it had been that long, he would have changed the key by then. Anyways, so what if, hear me out, he went in there, broke in, rescued all of the girls, went to go back to his apartment, and he had to come, he was the one who came in through the window. So he came in through the window, right? Came in here, had his list of groceries, got his things, sat down to have a beer, look at the photo of his lady, and then that's when Philip showed up with the key right through the front door. They had a fight, they tussled. First shot missed, injured Philip. Second shot killed Thomas. Philip had to ruffle through everything to find the first aid kit, and then he just walked out the door. Oh, hey, there's a clue list. I was aiming for a different button, but hey. I was aiming for F. That would do it. That would do it. Whose story is this? Bonus question ungraded. I don't know. I mean, we can get creative and be like, it's our story as a detective. Or we can say it's Thomas's story because he was through all three of them. We could say it's Hazel's story. I don't know. Thomas Harrington's. So we have a case file report. Okay. So this is going to summarize all three scenarios. On the morning of September 18th, 1998, around 5:30 a.m., Catherine left her home for her usual 15-hour workday. A few hours later, Gina arrived to take Hazel and Nicholas to their elementary school. In the meantime, Thomas was out of state, preparing to drive home after delivering his final parcel last night. When school ended, Hazel and Nicholas were dropped off at Bloommead Park by the school bus at 1:20 p.m. Nearby, Hannah Olson, a Child Protective Services investigator, was in her car, keeping a watchful eye on them. This marked her fifth stakeout attempt to catch the family in compromising circumstances. Meanwhile, Thomas, who was supposed to pick up the children, was engrossed in gambling at Bakersfield, losing track of time. Gina was unavailable as she was attending a family gathering that had begun at noon. As time continued to pass, with no one coming to collect the children, Hannah realized that the situation could not be allowed to persist any longer, considering the unfit conditions at their home. At 1:45 p.m., she decided to take it upon herself to remove the children from their household. So as I was kind of summarizing earlier, that yeah, Thomas was gambling, and the mother was at work, and there was an emergency hospital visit. They were being neglected. They were actually having issues with Gina. She was trying to quit, and she wasn't getting paid. So they were rapidly turning into a very serious neglect situation. But it was such an odd thing with Thomas because he wasn't their biological dad, and it didn't take too long to figure out that he wasn't the biological dad. But then yeah, he was off gambling, and the mother was actively being encouraged to leave him. So I don't know if he was actually taking her money as well, but yeah, it was just a pretty shitty situation. So for scenario 2, before I click on it, I did mention a couple times already, it was a pretty disgusting scenario, so I'm gonna read it, but trigger warnings, horrible warnings. I will have a timestamp as well as a note on the screen for what you guys can skip to if you don't want to hear this next part. Around 6:30 p.m. on November 15th, 2018, Philip departed the house to meet with a client, leaving the girls to themselves. Irene was in the dining room eating her heated dinner, while down the hallway in a bedroom, Emma and Stephanie were getting ready for their evening night shift. Meanwhile, Rose quietly slipped out into the convenience store to buy a cheap backpack. Upon her return, she swiftly carried on stuffing the backpack with essentials in the master bedroom. Her plan was to escape with Irene while Philip was away. So Rose is Irene's mother, and Philip is technically the father of Irene. Unfortunately, Philip returned earlier than expected. He caught her, immediately reached for his bronze knuckle, and proceeded to repeatedly beat her with it. As her mother shrieked in pain, Irene frantically dialed the number of a stranger whom she'd recently acquainted with and called for help. At 8 p.m., Philip locked the master bedroom door from the outside, leaving Rose inside unconscious. Then he left the house with Emma and Stephanie for the usual night shift. When the doorbell rang around 8:25, Irene opened the door to an older man who looked to be in his 50s. She promptly ushered him into the hallway. Philip's dog, Spike, immediately noticed the unfamiliar man and lunged at him. Spike's jaw clenched his arm and tore through the skin, causing a gush of blood. Irene froze in fear as the struggle quickly escalated. In a moment's notice, the man reached for a kitchen knife and stabbed Spike in the stomach. Spike released its grip and slumped to the floor, blood pooling from beneath its body. Down the hallway, the man managed to forcefully break open the locked master bedroom door. As soon as it swung open, Irene hurried to her mother's side. When Rose regained consciousness, she urgently insisted on the need to leave before Philip returned. Together, they assisted Rose into the man's car, and they quickly drove away. So, yeah, they left out a lot of unnecessary or inappropriate details, but yeah. Philip was a pimp. He was not a good person. Emma, Stephanie, Rose, and Irene were all victims of this. And yeah, he was just a really bad person. There was lots of drugs, lots of bad stuff happening. All right, on to scenario 3. So scenario 3, on November 16, 2018, at approximately 10 p.m., Philip gained entry to the apartment using a key he discovered in his house the previous night. Inside, he found a man in the kitchen who was searching for something to eat. Oh. So Philip... This makes it sound like Philip was just nonchalantly exploring a house that he found. Inside, he found a man in the kitchen who was searching for something to eat. Philip immediately recognized him as the same intruder captured on his house's security cameras the night before. With a gun in hand, Philip demanded information regarding the whereabouts of Rose and Irene. The man, however, refused to cooperate, sparking a violent altercation between the two. As the struggle unfolded, the man managed to retrieve his own firearm, but Philip made a desperate attempt to disarm him, inadvertently causing a shot to miss and hit the ceiling. Subsequently, Philip gained the upper hand, standing over the man, who was attempting to regain his footing. Philip shot him in the head at point-blank range, instantly killing him. Following the man's demise, Philip searched the premises and discovered the man's identity to be Thomas before making his exit. I'm not sure how I feel about that final summary because it makes it sound like Philip was the victim of happenstance. Okay, odd. Oh, that's kind of just everything, all the answers. Okay.
Which case file would you like to tackle?
Well, for what it was, disregarding the second scenario, it was very tricky, it was very interesting, it was definitely a sad story that took us through, some literal years in someone's life, going from a family. Basically, he went from one addiction to another, where he had a gambling addiction and it got his family, like his fiance died and the kids got taken away, to obsessing over trying to find her because she ran away. Trying to find Hazel because she ran away. Luckily, Nicholas was with his bio dad. But yeah, that was kind of sad there at the end. It was kind of a bit of a horrible scenario. But I will play through the rest of the levels here, case files. We're just going to keep doing them in their own episodes. So next will be the 4th floor. So if you guys want to catch that, be sure to like and subscribe so you guys can get a notification when that goes out. Or not. I personally don't have notifications on. I always hear people say, turn your notifications on. I do not have notifications turned on. So, yeah, so we'll get that in the next episode. So for now, thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. Yeah, that's all I got. So to keep this from getting too long and awkward, until next time, have a positive day, cryptid community. Bye-bye.